Hi, welcome to my first video blog on the theme parks here in Orlando. This is Buena Vista Bonsai. If you know anything about Disney, or if you know anything about me, you'll understand the name of this channel. I am here getting ready to go to Universal today and also to Disney Springs, which are a few of the things that are open as we go through COVID. I've decided to do this because, well, I love being a source of information, and a lot of people from traveling with me or from reading my stuff on Facebook have been really supportive of me starting to do something like this. And well, I figured it was time, because right now few people are coming here. A lot of people are curious about what's going on, especially right now as we live through these amazing times. So I figured, hey, this was a good time to do that and see where it goes. I plan to do these weekly, sometimes from the parks or after trips, during trips, sometimes just from home, answering questions, going over some of the news that comes up. So we'll see where this goes. I'm brand new to this, but I've always been in the media, so I kind of have an idea of where to go. I just need to see how my editing skills are and stuff like that, but I'm looking forward to this. So I'll have an email set up. I haven't set one up yet, so if you have any questions at any time you want me to address, please feel free to send them to me when we get there. And well, today's going to be just showing you what's going on here at the parks as they go through these slow openings, limited entry. The first thing I note today, this is actually my third time at Universal since they opened up. I've been here each of the 3 weekends. This is the first time I'm here on a Sunday. The other 2 days have been on a Saturday. The first thing that immediately I take notice of is when they started the first time, they were here in the parking lot spacing cars out every other row. And let's see if... Okay, yeah, I can switch pretty well there. So as you can see, that's no longer the case. Now, what I am not so sure of is whether or not that is because they've also recently started a procedure where annual pass holders, which I am for here at Universal, at Disney, and out at the Kennedy Space Center, where they get free prime parking here at Universal. So whether or not that plays into it and only this section is now, they're filling every spot, or it's Universal, no pun intended, throughout this garage, I don't know. But it's one place that you've already seen them in 1 week take a lax approach to what they had originally said. And I think it's also important for me to say, I live by myself. I'm working at home. I don't have anybody that I'm concerned about at home. My dogs, they don't get it, so you know what I mean. So I'm not concerned about infecting anybody. Even when I go out to eat, I'm still very good. I've been very happy to go out. I've been going out a lot, but I've also been paying very close attention to social distancing. I've been wearing, even if I go out to walk the dogs early in the morning, or if I'm getting my jog in the morning, I'm wearing a mask, and what I don't see a lot of other people doing is I'm wearing eye protection. So I feel safe living out there, but I also say, if you live with somebody you think you could infect, or somebody who you don't think would be able to, has a strong enough health to survive it, I wouldn't suggest going out or certainly coming here. As it is, I'm very careful about the rides I come to here. I like being in the parks. I like the environment. I like just people watching. But I mean, I'm very selective of what I'm doing here. I'm not going on the outdoor roller coasters. I know that, I mean, they say being outside's fine, but I also think when you're screaming and you're running right into somebody's personal space, what was their personal space 2 milliseconds ago, I don't feel comfortable with that. So I feel if you know your situation, you use common sense, I think everybody should be able to do what they want to. But also, it is that matter of common sense. I'm not going to put anybody at risk, myself or any of my friends. So if you are thinking about going to the parks, just think about the consequences. And with that said, I'm going to head in now. I'll try and take some video shots of things. You can kind of see what they're opening up, what they're doing for safety, and hopefully have a good time. So here we are. I'm about to head into the park. Hopefully you can hear me over the speaker there. I need to invest in getting a better microphone. Got my mask on, got my eye protections on. But you see already what they're doing for safety. They have entry information posts in English. Back there's one in Spanish. Back there's one in Spanish, so you can hear me there. And then this is the way in. You'll see, here let me surround a little bit, and you can see where they have the spacing so that when you're waiting to go in, you know where to stand. And then when you go inside, you have to do a temperature check. Anybody with a temperature registering over 100.4 cannot go into the parks necessarily. Actually, not necessarily. They will not let you in if you have a temperature of 100.4 or higher. They will give you a second screening if you fail the first one. But yeah, they have the temperature check here. Then it's standard to go in. You go through metal detectors. That's their normal thing. When you get to the actual park entry, one thing that they've also changed is they used to have biometrics to allow you in. They'd look at your ticket, scan your ticket, and scan your fingerprint. They are not doing that anymore. You actually just you hand them or hold up your ID, your driver's license, to minimize contact. This is again the early entry hour, so not too crowded. You have the checkpoint here, but not trying to focus on anybody so much, but if you look around, you can see everybody is being very conscientious about wearing their masks. I have seen them complain to people, not complain, but point out people if they're not wearing them to put them on. I have seen they give you a little bit of leeway if you're you buy some food or drink. They're not going to make you wear it and eat through it or anything, so that's been important. And let's see, this is the main entrance to the Universal Studio Park. Once you've gone through the turnstiles, but you can see even to get into the store and even to buy things, they have the markings on the ground so that you can socially distance. Here I am inside the park, out to go on my first ride of the day, the Jimmy Fallon Tonight Show ride through New York, situated in the area that looks like New York. So like this area a lot, makes me feel like home somewhat. This is one of the few rides I feel comfortable on here right now. That's the thing about a number of Universal rides are just like 3D movies where you sit there and you don't really go anywhere, so that's okay. And I'll show some video from inside of the spacing, but there's not many other rides I'd feel comfortable on. Not the roller coasters right now, not the so the other moving, they have other versions of things like this, but they move still, and some spin. Like Men in Black, for instance, is a ride where you spin, you're pretty much just moving slow in a straight line for most of the time, but still, when you go into somebody's space, that's when I'm not sure that it is safe. And I don't know how they're spacing on them because I'm not willing to find out. But this is one where, when I wrote it last week, and as I'll hopefully be able to show you some video of, they'll have us on every other row, and even then spaced out between parties.
All right, everybody, here we go. It's time to put on your 3D racing goggles.
So as you can see, they are doing some character meet and greet still. This one's a little different because the Transformers are people who are above the guests, so it's not the same, but you'll see some others where they do social distancing a little bit better. But here's Bumblebee greeting some guests. Hello from Hogsmeade and Hogwarts at Universal Isle of Adventure. There's a train between the two parks, if you're not familiar with it, that goes from one to the other. So I took the Hogsworth Express over here. They do very good with the social distancing there. It's made out to be like a European train with compartments on one side of the walkway. I had a compartment meant for 8 to myself. and it was like that last week. So again, with the social distancing, they're doing very well to keep people as safe as possible, as socially distanced as possible. I also rode the Simpsons ride for the first time since they reopened the parks, and that too, they have ride, I don't know if you'd want to call it ride, but seating areas of 8 as individual rocking compartments. I guess it is a compartment, and they space everybody out in every other compartment and one party per compartment, so I had a ride unit all to myself. So I'm ready to have my butterbeer here. It's one of my favorite things to do while I'm here, and standing right beneath Hogwarts and just looking around the parks. Today, as I said earlier, I've been here 3 times. This is my 3rd time here since everything reopened, and today is the most emptiest it's been. I'm guessing maybe because it's a Sunday. I don't know a specific reason, but here, as you can see, people walking around through Hogsmeade. There's a lot more room. It looks a little crowded right now, but it's a lot less crowded than it was. And this also is one of the busiest parts of the whole Universal Park, because you have the 2 e-ticket rides, the Hagrid's roller coaster and the Hogwarts ride itself, that are fairly busy. So, or usually. So this is where most people come to see. And so, but walking through the rest of the parks, it's very quiet. As I mentioned earlier, they do have character greets going on, but they have everybody socially distanced. So here you have Wolverine and Rogue heading into the Marvel area. But and they have like some of the Dr. Seuss characters out in their area as well. Posing for pictures, you can wave at them, they can wave at you, but you don't get to actually have the interaction like you normally would. Hello, so here I am now, about to head into Disney Springs, formerly known as Downtown Disney. Probably always be remembered as Downtown Disney whenever I speak about it. It's, if you're not familiar with it, it's not a theme park. It's a shopping entertainment venue. It is the first area, maybe the City Walk at Universal opened up a little bit before it, but pretty much it was the first thing to open up of real note within all the theme parks. They at first it had about half the stores and restaurants open. Now, as of last weekend when I was here, pretty much everything was open. A lot of the same security or safety features going on here. Have to wear a mask, have to have your temperature taken before you can go inside. Social distancing, lines to get in there, but they do things a little differently. I'll try and point them out. If not, I'll just come back and mention it at the end. But looking forward to... It's still Disney. I'm still more of a Disney person than I am Universal, so looking forward to just spending a few hours shopping. I have a little bit of a shopping list for some friends. I'm on the blessings and curses, and I don't mean it that way as a curse for anybody who's getting stuff. But always happy to help a friend out when they need Disney stuff, and no better place to do that. Just made my way through the World of Disney, which is the large Disney-esque store on property at Disney Springs. It is, as I was saying before, some of the things that they do differently here as opposed to Universal is I'm standing outside the exit as opposed to the entrance. Through this coronavirus, they have made a difference trying to keep people moving in the same direction, just like a lot of supermarkets having one-way aisles everywhere. So that's one thing that Disney is doing that other places are not. And you see it at some of the smaller stores around Disney Springs as well. So it's not just this one store, but like the Pigeon store that they have here, the Star Wars only store, which are kind of like little huts almost. You go in one side, you come out the other. Well, that does it for me today. I managed to go to the 2 parks at Universal and then through Disney Springs, 17,000 steps in, so that's kind of the par for the course. Some final thoughts of things that I've seen or noticed in my trips here. What really surprises me is the lack of masks being sold. Not the masks being worn, because pretty much everybody is wearing them. I did see a couple of people just now in Disney Springs who were taking a breather, I guess, to be polite about it. I don't know if they just took them off for a second and were going to put them back on or waiting to be called out on it. But for the most part, everybody was wearing masks. A few people talking about wearing masks, how they liked it or didn't like it. And, well, I guess that's par for the course also right now. So, but they're losing out on the ways to capitalize, which is really strange for these parks, because that's pretty much, some people tell you that's all they do. Yeah, no, at Universal, they had like 3 masks for sale, 3 different designs. The first few weeks I was there, they only had 1 design that was black and white and kind of boring, not including the pass holder mask, which I haven't gotten. And here at Disney Springs, a bunch of the third-party stores are selling masks, but nothing Disney related. So again, that's something, because I know Disney is selling them online now. I'm actually waiting for a few to arrive, but you can't actually buy them here now. And it just seems like, considering we're going to be wearing them for who knows the future and how much they like to do with collectibles and stuff like that, it seems like a perfect opportunity. And so it surprises me, because kind of interested in getting them. At Universal, I would have liked to have gone for friends some of the Harry Potter things if they had them. Slytherin mask for one friend in particular. But yeah, they don't sell them. So I think that is strange. Another thing that is of note, and I don't really know if it was the plan when they opened up Disney Springs, but the first weekend I was here, and let me quantify that, it was raining when I was here, and I think that's why things were a little different. But they actually had a limit on people they were allowing into the World of Disney store. And they had a virtual line, kind of like what they're doing at the parks now during this epidemic, where you check in, and then when the store empties out, they buzz you on your phone. Right now, they're just letting people in, and again, I heard mentioned that was happening because of the rain, because they didn't want to fill up with people avoiding the rain. But the last 2 times, I had to go into the store twice today, neither time was I stopped or asked to come back later. I don't know how much more busy it was from that day. And also, that was like the first weekend that it had opened up, so maybe the 2 things combined to make it that much busier. Anyway, that is it for this week. I hope you enjoyed my first attempt at this. Next week, I am probably going to do something from home, maybe a little bit of question and answer. So if you are getting this, and chances are if you're watching this week, you're doing that as a friend of mine who, well, thank you for the support there. But that way, you also know where to get me on Facebook until I have everything set up and actually kind of solidify both YouTube and Facebook to Buena Vista Bonsai. In the meantime, just find me on my regular Facebook page. But if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I think I might just do a little kind of my Disney theme park background, and that's a few things that come to mind about Disney. And then in 2 weeks, hopefully, I will be reporting back from the Magic Kingdom with the AP Advanced reopening. That is my hope. And, well, thank you for watching, and I hope you will watch again next time.